The 2012 Miami Dolphins finished their season out at 7-9 and find themselves drafting 12th overall in the 2013 NFL Draft. Let's dive into the Miami Dolphins. Their main offseason goal, I believe, this year was to address the receiving core, and that's exactly what they've done so far. Last year, they only had 3 touchdowns amongst all the receivers. Not good, so they need to go out and find some big targets. First of all, they've cut linebacker Carlos Dansby and linebacker Kevin Burnett with some of the free agent acquisitions that they've brought in. So let's dive into that. Mike Wallace at wide receiver signed a 5-year, $60 million deal with the Miami Dolphins, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the big target there for Ryan Tannehill. Dustin Keller was brought in at tight end on a 1-year, $4.25 million deal. Donnell Ellerbe of the Baltimore Ravens was signed at linebacker on a 5-year, $35 million deal. Philip Wheeler, linebacker formerly of the Oakland Raiders, on a 5-year, $26 million deal. And Brandon Gibson, wide receiver, on a 3-year, $9.78 million deal. I believe those are the biggest names that they've brought in so far in free agency. As you can see there, 3 of those 5 guys were brought in to help Ryan Tannehill in his sophomore campaign. They bring in Mike Wallace out as their number 1 receiver. They re-sign Brian Hartline as their number 2 receiver. They bring in Brandon Gibson possibly to be their number 3 or 4 with him and Devon Best. Their receiving core is starting to... we got to see how it all works out in the end, but right now on paper it looks solid. Some of their departures, you got Jake Long at offensive tackle, who signed a 4-year, $34 million deal with the St. Louis Rams. Kevin Burnett, who was cut at linebacker, signs with the Raiders. Reggie Bush signs with the Detroit Lions on a 4-year, $16 million deal. Sean Smith and Anthony Fasano both signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. The biggest loss, obviously, is going to be Jake Long at offensive tackle. In recent years, he's been a bit banged up, but I think Jake Long would have still been a solid left tackle there for the Miami Dolphins if they had re-signed him. Reggie Bush is a bit of a big blow. You got Daniel Thomas and Lamar Miller at running back on the roster, but I'm not sure if anyone is going to separate from the pack and be like a solid number 1 running back. There's a chance they address that in the draft. Let's take a look at re-signed players. They re-signed Randy Starks. Not necessarily re-signed, but they applied the franchise tag to him. Brian Hartline, a wide receiver. Chris Clemens at safety on a 1-year deal. Matt Moore to back up Tannehill, and Nate Gardner at offensive guard. Draft needs, if they don't address the offensive tackle position to replace Jake Long, right now there's talks that Eric Winston could be that guy. If they don't go out and grab him, I believe the tackle position would be a need. Running back, if they don't think that Miller and if they don't think that Daniel Thomas will get the job done. Outside linebacker, cornerback is going to be huge, and free safety because Chris Clemens is only a 1-year deal. So day 1, let's take a look at prospects here. Offensive tackle Lane Johnson could be a possibility if he's available. Barkevius Mingo at outside linebacker if he's available. Demontre Moore, I'm hearing that his stock is slipping. It'd be interesting to see if the Dolphins go out and grab more. Jarvis Jones at outside linebacker. If he doesn't get taken in the top 10 because of his spinal stenosis and he falls, there's another candidate there to the Dolphins. Xavier Rhodes at cornerback. Desmond Trufant at cornerback. They really need cornerback, and they could address it as early in the first round. And then Kenny Vaccaro at safety, possibly replacing Chris Clemens next season. Day 2, address any of those needs that I didn't mention in the first round. I mean, really, I think those are the top needs that they need to be addressed from rounds 1 to 5. I believe they have 2 second-round picks, and outside linebacker could be taken a look at. If it's not taken a look at in the first round, cornerback is going to be huge early on. I think that's the position they need to address in either rounds 1 or rounds 2 without a doubt. They cannot miss on a cornerback in the first 2 rounds. But, hey, what do I know? I'm not a Dolphins fan. Dolphins fans, throw your comments down below. I want to know what you guys think as to free agent acquisitions, who you guys should still bring in, needs for the draft, and prospects for the draft. All that in the comments below. I would appreciate some responses. I want to know what you guys think. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm out.